Okay, Daniel, we have another special guest for you.
Yes.
Guess who?
No,
Then I will begin with my, proper discussion. Yes.
You haven't realized who that guest might be?
No.
Okay.
I thought we were going to, just
He
talk
follows
about
you wherever you go.
One of your victims, I guess.
like, all these guys. Like, mute him for a second. So let me just say something, guys. I thought that he was gonna show up, but it's funny. Like, these guys are so like psychologically troubled because they can't. Like, the first opportunity that they get to come and talk to me, they jumped at it. Quickly want to get a rematch on a debate. And I'm just over it. Like, okay, the debate happened. You think that you did a good job and you won. Okay, whatever.
No, I think
I've moved on. Like, I have other more interesting people to talk to and debate with. I don't need to like rehash these arguments that clear, like from what Hara said, he doesn't even understand like the basic things. Like, what does lower than replacement level fertility rate means? He doesn't even understand that.
About that issue. Let's not talk about that issue. He's gone now. Let's talk about Apos. I think he acknowledged already that you won the debate. Didn't he? Yes, Apos.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. Thank you for Thank you for having me. Thank you for letting me in. First of all, I find it a little bit hypocritical, to be very honest, on Daniel Kikushu's part. I come here in good faith. I don't come here to insult anybody or to claim victory or anything. But having me muted and then making such a speech is kind of a sign of insecurity on his part, if you ask me. So we had an exchange in the past, a discussion. We both agreed during the live discussion that this is not a debate, and we both said, even he said after the debate, that we will reconsider having an actual debate in the future. Afterwards, he actually went on and said, "I won the debate." Okay, fine. You know what? I acknowledge it was an exchange that didn't really go as I thought it would go, because I just wanted to ask questions. I thought he would just give answers, but I didn't really manage it very well, and I think that I failed, in all honesty, in having a proper discussion and getting relevant answers out of him and responding to them as needed. So I think that was actually very good for him. I agree to that, and very bad for me and my purposes. I had no idea how to do those things. I was very new in doing those interviews. That said, we never had an actual debate. I never presented my actual arguments, my viewpoint, never argued for them or against yours in an open environment.
Why did your thumbnail? Why did the thumbnail of the video that you posted have you versus me?
That's a very normal thing. Versus doesn't mean that we are doing an equal debate. It just means that we are presenting certain ideas.
Why did you tweet? Why did you tweet? I acknowledge that I lost the debate.
That was a satirical tweet. I also tweeted that everyone defeated me on the same day. You should have seen that. But okay, let's concede that too. Let me concede that too. Let's say I did a terrible job on that day, and it wasn't meant to be a debate. You acknowledged that it wasn't a debate. I acknowledged that it wasn't a debate. But maybe it was a debate. It turned into one, and I lost it. Let's acknowledge that, right? In the end, it was not something that I would have a debate on. I never have debates on those topics. I usually have debates in a moderated, fair environment, like modern day debate, which you are familiar with, on actually relevant topics where we push ideas against each other. On that day, I didn't have any ideas that I presented against you. I merely came up with little responses. So I think the
whole point of that conversation was you made a video attacking me on certain things that I was saying about LGBT, and the whole point of coming was to talk about that and to argue with you about that. So you were proposing certain ideas. You were proposing certain positions that, LGBT is perfectly normal. We should have freedom, and anything that Islam proposes on this topic is barbaric and wrong. That's your position.
I was doing exactly what I told you I would do. Maybe I went a little bit off track, but I said I would ask you questions to make you clarify your positions. It didn't really go as planned. I acknowledge that. But yeah, so I would say the best thing we could do, and I don't see how that could be interpreted as me being desperate or, trying to redeem myself or whatever it is. You see it that way. I really don't care. I really do not care at all. But the best.
Why are you here? Why are you here to ask me what?
The best thing to do would be to go on a debate platform like Modern Day Debate and have an actual debate and then see how that will go. What could go wrong if you are so good? If I'm so terrible,
we saw everything that you
wrong?
can. We see everything that you're able to produce
Yeah.
on your channel and in that conversation that we had. Every point that you make has been responded to 5 times over by Muslims, including myself.
For
there's
example?
not people like Fareed Responds, people like Sajid Lipum. They
let me
have
ask you some questions,
people like Thought Adventure Podcast, people like Jake the Muslim Metaphysician. All of these Muslims have repeatedly refuted all of the arguments you make. You only have like 2 or 3 arguments. Like you have a science argument, you have a science argument, you have an Islam is not liberal argument, and you have like certain points about free will. You have just 3 basic arguments. All of them have been responded to multiple times over. It's like a waste of time to talk to you. Even now, I'm wasting my time talking to you because your whole career is based on 3 basic points that you just repackage and put on your channel over and over and over again. I'm not interested. I'm not interested in like repeating all of this stuff.
Daniel and Epus, on top of that,
it seems like you have a great unwillingness to talk to me. I would just like to present some questions here, some arguments, and see how we can actually talk about them. Because you're completely misrepresenting what I have.
All your questions have been responded to.
I don't have 3 arguments. I made a video with 60 arguments that are based on science. I have more, dozens of them listed. There are so many things that nobody
arguments are all one argument. The 60 arguments are all one argument.
Okay,
Islam is not scientific. That's the one argument.
Okay, Daniel, if you're not interested, let me ask the Mufti questions. I have more respect for him in this sense. He seems more open to having a conversation right now. Let me ask him.
This is not a conversation. I didn't realize that this was a conversation with Apus stream. I thought this was questions from Apostate. Ask a question and get lost.
You're not ready for Apostate then, I guess. Okay, sure.
Apus, if you have a question for Daniel, why don't you ask? I think just coming here and again challenging for the debate is not a good idea.
I mean, the thing is, you see the difference in conduct, right? I come here with all good faith and niceness, and in a diplomatic way. And here is the response.
That's good. That's good. You presented your point. He presented his point. If you have any question for him,
sure, yeah, I'll do that. Since he said that I should just present my questions and not discuss, I think it would be nice to just to prove him wrong, to present a few points that I think are of importance. For example. In the Quran, certain names of prophets are listed.
Don't give a whole speech. Ask a question.
I am asking questions. If you
this is not like a platform for you to present your whole.
Daniel, don't be scared. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. Calm down. It's okay. I'm just asking questions. Don't be scared.
You're the one who had an anxiety attack on camera. Like, are you telling me not to be scared?
I have an anxiety disorder, also a depression.
Yeah, I know. I'm not making fun of it. I'm just saying you need to be careful.
Yes, you did
because of your disorder.
You did make
because of your disorder.
You're personally attacking me again. Stop personally attacking me. Just let me speak.
I have a question for you. So you have this anxiety problem, which I'm sorry about it, but did you have it before you became apostate or after you became apostate?
Before. I've had it all my life. I've had ADHD, depression, anxiety, and all of that since I was about 12 years old. It has nothing to do with apostatizing.
Okay.
That's a very bad line of career for someone who has an anxiety disorder.
If you have this kind of problem, why are you involved in debate?
Should I not do this? Should I not speak my mind because I have mental weaknesses or illnesses that many Muslims also suffer from? Bangladesh is one of the highest countries in terms of depression. Do you think people in Bangladesh should not engage in public discourse and debates?
If someone who has an anxiety problem, it's not wise to engage in public debates.
Yeah, well, I don't really respect what you consider wise. I don't think you should talk on.
I'm not saying respect it. I'm just putting my point out there.
With all due respect. With all due respect, you talk about inferiority complex, which is a psychological concept that you don't have any education or any understanding of. I do. I don't think you should use things like an inferiority complex to misplace and falsely describe people like Aristotle or ex-Muslims. An inferiority complex is nothing like what you describe. That said, that's just a side note. If you want to learn psychology, you learn from people who actually study or have studied psychology.
Okay,
now, coming to Islam. coming to Islam. Now, Islam makes many claims. The Prophet Muhammad makes many claims. The Quran makes many claims. Like in the Quran, a prophet is mentioned, like Ilyas, for example. Ilyas is taken from Hebrew Eliyahu, in English known as Elijah, and stands for "My God is Yahweh." In Christian and Jewish belief and culture, this is very normal because they have many of these theophoric names because their God is named Yahweh. Even if Yahweh, Yod-Ha-Weh-Ha, is not mentioned in the New Testament because they, out of respect for the name, they merely refer to him as God, but they still have the word in their scripture because they have the Old Testament. Every Jew and Christian knows that they believe in this God with that name. Islam doesn't. In Islam, that is not the name, and you guys will not acknowledge that this is his name. How do you exactly solve the problem that your Quran contains several names which refer to Yahweh in an honorific way, like Jesus, Elijah, and many others? Secondly, the Muhammad said in certain hadiths, and I can give you sources to that if you want me to.
Wait, are you saying, just to clarify, you're saying that Yahweh is or is not referred to in the Quran?
I'm saying Yahweh is not acknowledged, but unknowingly in the Quran referred to by using theophoric names which are adopted from biblical tradition
Like
and
what?
scripture that refer to him, such as Ilyas, Isa, and certain other names.
Why is it assumed that that's referring to Yahweh, or why is that assumed that?
What do you think Ilyas is in Hebrew?
I don't know.
It's Eliyahu. What do you think? Eliyahu
Why is that Yahweh? That doesn't sound like Yahweh.
That is how Hebrew works. Maybe you need to have a more deeper understanding of how Hebrew works, but that is how.
No, I acknowledge that I don't know Hebrew, but I want to know where is this coming from? Just because they have similar letters. If they have similar letters in Hebrew, that means that it's the same word.
No, Yahu or Yah is how the God Yahweh, with the reduction of letters, is referred in Hebrew, in the Hebrew language, in biblical history. You will find this reference everywhere in Jewish history. If you open the Bible in the Old Testament or in the Hebrew Bible, you will find the word Yahweh 6,000 times or more, and you will find many honorific theophoric names which contain this name precisely. And Eliyahu literally means "My God is Yahweh."
You know, Apis, do you know who was Elia?
Was a prophet according to the biblical tradition and according to Islam.
So Ilyas cannot be Elia?
What do you mean? Ilyas cannot be Elia.
You're saying Ilyas is Yahweh, right?
No, I'm saying Ilyas Ilyas in the Quran is Eliyahu or Elijah.
Why not Elia?
Who is Elia?
You said he was a prophet. You just said it.
I'm saying Eliyahu, Elijah.
I'm asking about
that
Elia.
Is the same prophet.
I'm asking about Elia.
Who's Elia? Which Elia are you referring to?
That Elia was a prophet.
Okay, I thought we were talking about the same person. I thought we were talking about Eliyahu or Elijah, right? That's what we're talking about.
You're saying because of Ilyas and Eliyahu, because there are some similarities. So Quran used the word Eliyahu from Hebrew tradition and presented as Ilyas. What I'm saying is that you are aware that there is a personality in the Hebrew tradition, and his name is Elia, and Elia was a prophet. You just acknowledged. So why not Ilyas can be Elia?
I don't understand what that means. I don't understand what you're asking me. I really don't understand what you're asking me. I'm sorry, but please clarify what you're asking me. Ilyas is according to
Elia is a prophet.
Yeah,
in biblical culture.
I don't know what Elia is.
You just said he was a prophet.
In Hebrew, Eliyahu or Elijah is the prophet. Is that who we are talking about?
According to biblical tradition, Elia was a prophet who was sent to a place called Baalabak, which is now situated in Lebanon. So Ilyas, why do you think that Ilyas is actually the Arabic word for Eliyahu and not the Arabic name of Elia?
That is it is for Elia, but how does that even matter to the actual discussion? I don't understand what you're pointing at. What does Elia mean in Hebrew?
Elia is a prophet according from the biblical, right?
Okay,
Elia
what do you think it means? What do you think the name means?
Elia is a prophet from the biblical culture.
Okay.
right?
This is a very strange.
Your whole argument, your whole argument is based on Ilyahu, the meaning of Ilyahu, from the biblical culture.
Yeah.
Which means, what is the meaning of Ilyahu, by the way?
My God is Yahweh, or Yahweh is
my God is Yahweh. Okay.
Eli,
so my God is Yahweh. All right. So do you think that a prophet would have this name, my God is Yahweh?
Yes. Why not?
Okay. So if it is a name of a person, not God, then what's wrong in it? If the Quran mentions the name of that prophet, what's wrong in this?
Because according to the Quran, this is a very honorable prophet of Allah who carries a very important name, which honors the name of their God. And this prophet's name, according to the Quran, is in agreement with the Hebrew name, which is my God is Yahweh. So my question here is, do you acknowledge that that the God that you believe in is actually named Yahweh? Is actually named Yahweh? Or do you think this is completely made up?
What is the meaning of Yahweh?
It is something along the lines of I am who I am, or I am that I am. But in the Bible, it's also said that this is his actual name, and this is how he should be remembered for all eternity.
So if someone's name is my God is Allah, do you have a problem with that?
I don't know.
Okay. So in Hebrew culture, Allah and Yahweh, so Yahweh, Hebrew's Yahweh is Allah in Islamic culture. And a prophet's name is my God is Yahweh. Is that a problem?
I think it's a problem to Islam, because Yahweh is not the equivalent of Allah.
Well, in Islam, the rule is that you can call Allah however you like, as long as the name is good and suitable to his entity and his being. So, وَلِلَّهِ الْأَسْمَاءُ الْحُسْنَى فَادْعُوهُ بِهَا. It's in the Quran. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not say in the Quran anywhere that you have to call Allah with this particular name. So in your local language, you can call Allah. You can give him any name that is suitable to his being. So if one's name is my God is Allah, if that's not a problematic thing to you, therefore in biblical culture, if one's name is my God is Yahweh, there shouldn't be problematic to Islam.
Well, you're misunderstanding the whole premise here. You're misunderstanding the whole premise here. The issue is not that a certain word is being used. The issue is that the word Yahweh, the name Yahweh, is not just a random name. This is, according to Abrahamic tradition, it was forever known so, the actual unique name of God. The Bible refers to this many times and says, when it refers to the God El or Elohim, which just means deity, the Bible also uses the same word for other gods. It says, your God, your El, your Eloh, his name is Yahweh. For example, in the Shema, which is something that the Jews use regularly, where they say, your God is one. It says, your God, Yahweh, is one. Your God, Yahweh.
So your
Bible,
whole
says,
understanding is that Yahweh is different and Allah is different. These are two entities. Is that your understanding?
My understanding is that Islam adopted this God from Abrahamic tradition without knowing that this God's actual name, his specific, unique name within Abrahamic tradition, is Yahweh. It is not Allah. It is not just a title. It is an actual name. I am a human in different languages, but my actual name is Ridwan, for example. In Islam, God's name is apparently Allah, or he doesn't have a unique name, I guess. I don't know. But in Hebrew, in the biblical tradition, God's name, so Eloh's name is Yahweh, and this is known unanimously.
Hey, Apos, here's a question. Did Abraham know the name Yahweh?
Not sure. I think according to the biblical tradition, it is something that was only revealed to Moses and not to the people before him. So I guess
according to the Bible. So according to the Bible.
Brother Daniel, just a second. My question to the Apos: what is the translation of وَلِلَّهِ الْأَسْمَاءُ الْحُسْنَى?
The beautiful names of Allah. Yeah.
So Allah can have multiple names, right?
Sure. Yes. But that's not the point, because that is just something that
was the point.
That's just something that you give Allah to.
Allah's name or God's name is Yahweh. In a different culture, he has a different name.
We're talking about the culture.
One person can have multiple names.
We're talking about the culture that
societies where one person can have multiple names.
No, but,
okay,
but
the name that we're talking about is not just an attribute that is given to Allah, like in Islam.
For example. We're not talking about attributes. وَلِلَّهِ الْأَسْمَاءُ الْحُسْنَى. When the ayah doesn't say وَلِلَّهِ الصِّفَاتُ الْحُسْنَى.
Okay,
The ayah says وَلِلَّهِ الْأَسْمَاءُ الْحُسْنَى.
I know we're
But
just
the whole premise
right
of
now.
the whole premise of your argument is mistaken, because you're saying your argument is basically that this is the name of God, Yahweh, in the Hebrew tradition, but it's not used in the Quran. It's not found in the Hadith. So this is like an ignorance on the part of Islam that they somehow missed the name Yahweh. But this argument is nonsensical, because even within the Hebrew Bible and within the Jewish tradition, they acknowledge that there are many prophets who did not know the name Yahweh. And if you go to Exodus, 6, verse 2-3, it says, God said to Moses, I am the Lord. I appeared to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob as God Almighty. But my name, the Lord, I did not take myself fully known to them. I did not make myself fully known to them. So Moses got this name from God, according to the Hebrew Bible, of Yahweh. But Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob only knew God as El.
Okay.
El, like Allah. So according to the Hebrew Bible, there are many prophets major prophets, including Abraham himself, who did not know this particular name of God. And as Mufti Yasir said, there are many names of God. So how is this disqualifying for Islam?
Sure, that's a good point, but you see the difference here, right? You see that the Bible here says, as you quoted, this is also what I go for example, in my argument, that the Bible says, this is my name. So in the Bible, the God says to Moses, this is my name. Before you, I did not reveal my name. I only made myself known as God, as the God, El Eloh. But to you, I now reveal my name, which is in English put as capital Lord, but it's actually Yahweh in the Hebrew text, or Yod-Ha-Weh-Ha. And by this name I shall be known forever. Isn't that what it says? The text says exactly that. I shall be known by this name forever, for all eternity.
So in Exodus 3:15, it says from generation to generation. So this is the name specifically for Beni Israel, for the Israelites. So this is just there are many people who know God not by any Semitic name. They just know it by God, right? So how does that, why does that mean that everyone has to be using that particular name? This is a leap of logic on your part.
How do you get that? How do you get that conclusion from? I don't think that's really what the text here says. This is an interpretation that I've never heard before, in all honesty.
That's your interpretation.
This is just something. No, this is your interpretation, that this is only for those people. This is not the case. What the Bible here says in the text is, this is how I shall be known from now on, generation for generation. It does not say anywhere that this is just for the Hebrew people. This is just God saying, this is my name, and I shall be known by this forever.
So Torah,
where do you get that this is just for the people?
So Torah was for the entire mankind?
It was, by the Jewish beliefs, meant to be for the people of Moses, according to.
So from generation to generation means human generation, or the generation of Banu Israel, Israelites?
It is very unspecific here. So God introduces himself.
So the entire Torah is for the people of Banu Israel, but this particular verse is for everybody.
No, you're conflating certain things here. It could be that the Torah is only meant to be followed word for word by Jews, but that does not mean that when God says, "This is my name, I shall be known like this forever," that is
I shall be known forever by you. You will call me with this name. Because all the teachings of Torah were for the children of Banu Israel.
Okay, you're just applying applying a false logic here. When it says this is my name, this is how I shall be known forever. Just because the Torah is a book whose rules are to be followed only by the Hebrew people, that does not mean that my name, I shall be known by this forever, is only a rule that applies to Hebrew people. So if I say I give you people a book of rules, by the way, this is my name, I shall be known by this forever, that does not mean that I shall be only be known by you.
You're misinterpreting the verse. You're misinterpreting the verse, Ridwan, because you're saying that this is the name.
Can you give me a specific verse?
Exodus 3:15.
Okay, Exodus 3:15.
That's what you're referring to, right? This is my name forever. I shall be known by this forever, right?
I think there are two different instances where this story is mentioned. I can look up the other one as well. But yeah, God furthermore said to Moses, "This is how you."
Rizwan, please be quick because there are other people who are waiting in the list.
Look, it says, he said to Moses, "This is what you shall say to the sons of Israel: the Lord, the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob has sent me to you. This is my name forever, and this is the name for all generations to use to call upon me."
So did you miss the first part where it says, say to the Israelites?
Does that mean this is just for Israelites? No, it's not.
Well, the plain reading of, so let me talk now. Let me talk.
Okay, sure.
The plain meaning of the plain reading of this verse, God said to Moses, say to the Israelites. That's a specific group of people.
Mhm.
This is my name forever. Now, you seem to imply that if a name other than Yahweh is used to refer to God, this contradicts what the verse is saying, right?
Yeah.
But actual Jews and, throughout Jewish history, they have used the word Yahweh to refer to God, but they also continue to use the word El. They continue to refer.
They also use Adonai because they don't use his actual name because
there are multiple.
Because what they say.
Don't interrupt me.
No. But that's a misrepresentation of what it actually
El,
is.
Yahweh, Adonai. There's other names. I agree.
That's not
germane to my point.
That's not true. It is not, those names are not his name. No Jew believes that those things are actually his name.
What's
Jews
Israel?
agree.
What does Israel mean?
Jews
Israel.
agree. It means struggling with God, resting with God.
Oh, so El refers to God then?
Yeah, in the Torah, El is
used by Jews.
Torah, if you let me speak, in the Torah, El is also used for other gods.
If you let me speak, you interrupted me. So Israel, Ishmael, okay, Gabriel, they all use the word El to refer to God. So these Jews and Israelites were using the word El to refer to God throughout their history up until the modern day. This verse that you're citing from Exodus is not saying that, okay, you can only use the name Yahweh to refer to me. That is the only name of God that you can use to refer to God. That's not claimed about the verse. Then what's your argument?
Okay, may I respond to that now?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Okay, please don't interrupt me. I never said that you can only use this name. I never said there are multiple names. I never said any of those things. I also said very clearly, if you pay attention at the very beginning, that El means simply God or deity. This is known within Hebrew culture and is also used throughout the Bible to refer not only to the one God of Israel, but also to other people's gods. For example, it says they have made an El, an Eloh out of gold, for example. So it refers to other people's gods also as El or as Eloh. This simply means deity. Jews know for a fact that this is not the name of their God. What they do know is God has one unique name. You don't have to laugh about this. This is what every Jew knows. You can ask them. God has one unique name, which is holy. It is Yod-HaWeh-Ha, also today known as Yahweh or Yehovah. This name is holy. This name shall not be frequently used. In order to avoid using this name, you can use titles, honorific titles like El, Eloh, God, or Adonai, Lord, or certain other titles, which are not God's name. They are simply titles in order to refer to him in an honorific way. In the end, if you know a king named Mahmud, for example, but you refer to him as my Lord or my king or my ruler or eminence, whatever it is, are those things his name? No, they are merely titles in order to refer to him in an honorific way. His name will still be Mahmud. It will not change. In the same way, according to the Abrahamic belief, to the biblical belief, God's name from the very beginning to the very end is Yahweh, and he makes himself known as God or as Lord and so on to different people. Just because some people did not refer to him as Yahweh, that does not mean his name is not Yahweh, because that would contradict with the very idea presented in multiple occasions here, which clearly say,
where does the Bible say,
I am Yahweh.
Where does the Bible say that Yahweh is the only name of God?
Yes.
I have never said that Yahweh is the only name of God.
Okay.
I've said that Yahweh is the
unique and you also acknowledge that there were many prophets, according to the Bible, who did not know the name Yahweh
before it was revealed. Yes.
So what is the objection then? What is the problem in Islam?
So what is
the fact that Muslims and the Prophet, peace be upon him, was not given a particular name, how does that disqualify him as a prophet? Or how does that make him
I don't say it
ignorant?
disqualifies him. I'm simply asking certain questions to look for an answer here. What I'm asking you is, are you as Muslims, or is Islam, or are Muslim scholars, is Muslim theology aware of the fact that the biblical God's name is Yahweh? And what do you say about this?
In Islam, it's recognized, and I believe that there's a hadith about this, that there are many names, thousands of names that God has, and not all of them were revealed.
It's in the Quran.
Okay. Yeah, but some people could say that the Quran is referring to the 90, in that ayah, it's referring to the 99 names. But there are other narrations, there are other hadith, that God has thousands of names, and not all of them are known to the Prophet Muhammad.
Okay, but
that's acknowledged, that's recognized in Islam.
But those are not actual names, right? So when you say Qadir, for example, you could use it as a word to refer to different things, while also using that as one of Allah's beautiful names.
But you acknowledge that God can have.
We don't use Qadir to refer to different things. We use Al-Qadir to refer to Qadir to different
I understand, but it is a
Qadir and Qadir.
I understand. But what I'm saying is, it is a word that you are aware of, a word that is that is known in vocabulary. Some Muslims even unknowingly, or maybe out of a lack of piety, use it to name themselves. Or if some people accept that this is okay, name their children that way, or refer to certain things, to certain qualities that way. But normally, you are supposed to believe that this is a name that God is known by, because He is the Qadir. But you cannot do the same thing for Yahweh. And you acknowledge that according to the biblical idea here, this is not just a name to describe Allah, God's quality. This is how God identifies Himself. He says, "This is my unique name. This is my name. This is how I shall be remembered." And instead, the Bible uses this name over 6,000 times to say, "I am Yahweh, your God."
Because if you agree that one person can have two different names, you agree with that. So why do you think that Allah or God cannot have two different or multiple names?
I completely agree with that. Here's the issue. If you agree that what do you think my name is? Do you know my name?
Ridwan. I think your name is Rizwan.
Yeah, my name is Ridwan. Okay. So if you know me, but you have no idea what my name is, you have no idea what my name is at all, but you also claim that you are a very good friend, or a very good follower, or a very good whatever it is of me, what does that say? It says that we are not really familiar.
I don't know their nicknames. They're recognized in their family by their nicknames, and outside they're recognized by identified by different names.
Okay, but that's not my nickname. This is my actual name. In this case, according to the Bible, this is his actual name.
They are identified and recognized within their family by their nicknames, not by their official name. So it means a person can have multiple names. And so Allah can have multiple names. Yahweh, He is recognized or identified as Yahweh within the biblical culture, and Allah in Islamic culture. I don't think there is any contradiction.
Okay, but we are not talking about nicknames. We're talking about my actual name.
I'm not saying nicknames.
There is a thing.
An example. That was not an analogy. That was just an example. I'm not talking about nickname versus official name. I'm talking about a person can have multiple names and can be identified by one name in one circle and identified by another name in a different circle.
Okay. Do you acknowledge that Yahweh might be a name that Allah Himself preferred to identify Himself with and used for Himself uniquely throughout the Bible?
No, but He didn't use it uniquely. It's not uniquely used in the Bible, as you
Okay. By uniquely, I mean I'm saying I don't know how else to put this to get the semantics right here. But something that He used. This is the only name that He used more than 1,000 times to refer to Himself, except the title Eloh or Elohim.
If it was so unique, then all the prophets and messengers of Banu Israel, they were aware of it. They were not.
Well, they were after it was revealed to Moses, according to the Bible itself. It says, "This is my name. I am the one who spoke to Abraham and to all the others. My name is Yahweh, and I reveal my name to you."
Ibrahim, peace be upon him, was not aware of it. Yaqub, peace be upon him, was not aware of it.
Yes, but this is what it says. I am the one who spoke to them.
So it means
this is my name.
It's not a unique name of God. Otherwise, every prophet from Banu Israel would have known about it.
Okay. Let me say that. He says, I am the one, I am the God who spoke to Abraham and to all the others. My name is Yahweh. I am revealing my name now to you. I did not reveal it to them. From now on, for generations, you shall know me by this name. That's what it says, doesn't it?
So the people were worshipping Allah or God without knowing his name. All the prophets and messengers, they were communicating with God without knowing his name.
Possibly, yeah.
Just an example that how come you can have a friendship with someone you don't know his name?
Well, I would say that the logic here is very clear. It says, I am the one. I did not reveal it to them, yet I am revealing it to you, to Moses. From now on, you shall know me as that. There is no contradiction here.
From now on,
it doesn't mean
before this, I was not known by this name. So all the prophets and before Moses, they were talking to me, they were communicating with me, I was communicating with them, and they did not recognize me with this unique name. That, according to you, is unique.
Sure. That
means it is not a unique name.
No. He speaks to Abraham and he says, I am God, I am your God, right? And after a while, he doesn't reveal his name to them for some reason. I don't know why, don't question me. He comes to Moses and says—
because it was not unique.
And says, it is unique. What do you mean?
It's actually not unique. Like, do you know the history of the word Yahweh? Do you know the history of this?
Well, if you want to go into the historical aspect, I would completely disagree with the biblical aspect here and say that the name Yahweh developed over time and was adopted from polytheistic beliefs into a monotheistic belief, but that would completely interfere with your Islamic beliefs as well.
No, it doesn't interfere with Islamic beliefs because we believe in tahrif. We believe that the Bible has been corrupted, that the Hebrew Bible was corrupted. It doesn't actually, it's perfectly consistent with Islamic beliefs that a polytheistic name Yahweh has been adopted from the Canaanite polytheistic religion, has been adopted into the Hebrew Bible and mixed with other things. And there was kind of this writing of from now, because there's an obvious question. Well, why didn't these texts that refer in Genesis, for example, that has Abraham, Ismail, and Isaac, not have this name Yahweh? But in our religion, in this polytheistic religion that we're adopting, there is the name Yahweh. How do we reconcile these things? How about we just write a verse in Exodus that from the time of Moses, we'll be referred to as Yahweh. This is how academics explain it. So are you a Christian or a Jew that you're trying to make this kind of argument?
You're shooting yourself in your own foot right now.
No, I'm asking, are you a Jew or a Christian? Are you a Jew or a Christian that you're trying to argue from the perspective of the Bible as if it's coherent, as if it has no historical questions? Okay, so you didn't reveal that part of it, right? Why don't you reveal your actual views about the word Yahweh? You said it evolved from polytheistic words. So we can completely agree with you on that as Muslims. That doesn't contradict any Islamic belief.
First off, I didn't say it evolved from polytheistic views. I said that there is a historical aspect and a perspective. But if you want to go by that hypothesis, Daniel, then that would be shooting yourself in the own foot, because according to that hypothesis, the entire God of the Israelites was a polytheistic God who was long ago, 1,000 years BC or before, adopted by the Israelites, by the Hebrew people, as their own unique God because they wanted to be unique, and was then developed over time. Because the earliest manuscripts that we have go back and tell us about the name Yahweh, don't they? They go. It
doesn't contradict Islam at all. Allah was also, the mushrikeen in Mecca, the Quraysh also believed in Allah, the name Allah. They also worshipped Allah. So the fact that these ancient Canaanites and ancient Hebrews, ancient Israelites had the word El or Elohim, and they associated with other names and other gods, that doesn't show that the word El or the God of the Israelites was a creation of the polytheists.
Okay, are you aware that many of the prophets mentioned in the? I just need to ask this question, clarification of that. Are you aware that many of the prophets mentioned in the Quran came after this supposed corruption that you think happened?
Which corruption specifically? Which corruption specifically?
You acknowledge the hypothesis that
we need to stop it here. We need to end this discussion.
This is getting very critical.
There are other people waiting. There are other people waiting. 10 people behind you, and I think
this was a very big blunder.
Let's listen to this one last point.
Okay.
Last point.
So
Okay.
Daniel just acknowledged the hypothesis that the Israelites probably corrupted their own beliefs and adopted Yahweh into their beliefs in Scripture some time ago. According to the hypothesis, this happened maybe around, I don't know, 1000 BC. I might be completely understating this. It might be much longer than that. But according to the Quran, there are certain prophets which, when we look at the timeline, came long after this supposed corruption happened. So the Israelites corrupted their own religion. They corrupted their own scripture. They adopted a false name for their polytheistic God named Yahweh. And after that, certain people came, just like Elijah, for example, who is mentioned in a very honorable way in the Quran. And those people are considered righteous people who led the Israelites, who led the Hebrews, and they are honored within the Quran. If now this religion that we have, which comes with a corrupt guy called Yahweh, is merely a perversion made by the Israelites, then doesn't that mean that the prophets mentioned in the Quran, which come after that corruption, are also part of that corruption, are also part of that corrupt history? Why does Islam acknowledge those prophets?
Well, where is the information coming from about these prophets? If you rely on the Hebrew Bible to get information about the prophets who came after Moses using this name Yahweh, then obviously that's part of the same corrupt source of the Bible. But the Quran, when the Quran speaks about the prophets who are coming after Moses, it is giving the true story, the actual story that they are fighting against shirk, they're fighting against polytheism, and they're instituting and calling people to tawheed, to the oneness of God and monotheism. So you're mixing up your sources or your epistemology. We have the biblical source, which we're saying is corrupt. That's the Islamic position, that these texts have been corrupted, and they could be corrupted in a kind of consistent way, like the corruption or the changes could be, inserted at many different points within the biblical narrative. None of that concerns Islamic epistemology and what we understand of the prophets and that history.
Can I ask one clarifying question?
Okay, all right, Amos, I think we should end this here.
Can I ask one final clarifying question?
We cannot drag this forever because there are other people waiting.
I acknowledge. I will leave. I just want to ask one final question.
Is it related? Is it a new topic, or are you going to ask?
It's just about this, just to clarify. Okay, so are you suggesting that prophets honored by the Israelites, by the Jews, and also mentioned in the Quran, who came after this supposed corruption, where they falsely adopted this name Yahweh, were actually just not prophets who were acknowledged by the Jews, but were just engaged in an infighting in order to correct the false polytheistic beliefs of the Israelites? So prophets that came after that corruption were actually fighting against the corruption and against the polytheism within Israel. Is that your suggestion?
Yeah, so the whole understanding about the prophets that came to Bani Israel has many prophets, and the whole purpose is they kept corrupting their texts. They kept corrupting their practices, and this is discussed in the Quran and in Hadith, that this is a tendency of Bani Israel, that they would take a teaching from a prophet and they would distort it. And so another prophet has to come to correct it over and over and over again. So that's perfectly in line with the Islamic conception of prophethood.
Thank you. Okay, I'll take
all
that.
Right. All right. Thank you, everyone, for showing up here.
Thank you so much. I'll see you.
You're welcome.
Am I audible?